Hello students, how are you all? So we continue further our discussion on aphorisms. So last presentation we discussed till aphorism number 46. So we move further with the discussion of aphorisms. So in this presentation I am going to discuss few aphorisms after 46. Okay, so before we begin, let's have a quick revision of the past presentation. So we have seen that in the last presentation about the Dr. Hahnemann's observation. So Dr. Hahnemann, with his keen observation of natural diseases, what he has seen in these observations is mainly that when two dissimilar diseases meet in nature, what are the various conditions, what are the various observations he has noted. He discussed in aphorism number 36 first condition, 38 second condition, and aphorism number 40 third condition, that with the title what happens when two dissimilar diseases meet in nature. So we have already discussed this, the three conditions. Also, what happens when two similar diseases meet in nature, that we have discussed in 43. So when the case is with the two dissimilar diseases meet in nature, Hahnemann has clearly told us they never cure. They never cure. And in the third condition of aphorism number 40, they form a complex disease if two dissimilar diseases are of equal strength. Now what happens when two similar diseases meet in nature? That the stronger removes the weaker. Stronger disease will remove the weaker similar disease. This phenomena in nature is quite evident. So he has noted clearly that when two similar diseases meet in nature, like the usual examples. Now all of you must be well conversant with the examples I am discussing again and again with the two similar diseases, that is ophthalmia being removed by smallpox and orchitis being removed by mumps. So these phenomena in nature are quite evident. So it is not that just Hahnemann has noted it, all physicians have noted this, but it was only Dr. Hahnemann who noted this and understood its significance. So he further came to the conclusion that stronger similar disease is replaced by artificial stronger similar disease produced by remedy whose dose is regulated. It's not dangerous and disappears soon as dose is regulated. So this I have put in red because this phenomena took place after the administration of the similimum. So what happens when similimum is given? Stronger similar disease is removed by artificial stronger similar disease. How this artificial stronger similar disease is produced? It is produced by remedy whose dose is in the hands of physician, so it's regulated and it's not at all dangerous. Like when ophthalmia is getting removed by smallpox, smallpox is so dangerous to the extent that it can be fatal. And thus this artificial stronger disease disappears as the dose is regulated. And what is the dose? It's minute dose which is given. Okay, so we have already seen this in the previous aphorisms of the observations of Dr. Hahnemann. When two dissimilar diseases meet, they never cure. And when two similar diseases meet in nature, stronger removes the weaker. So he takes that clue and tries to explain the phenomena of cure by our similimum. Okay, so he raises homeopathy to the natural science. Homeopathy is a natural science. Cure only takes place in homeopathy. That's the conclusion. Cure only takes place in homeopathy, called as natural cures. So shall we move further with our next aphorism? That is aphorism number 47. See, this will be a very short presentation because I want you to focus your attention on Hahnemann's observations. So he is time and again telling us that how this kind of phenomena are taking place in nature. So homeopathic cures are just like the natural disease which cures in the nature. So homeopathic cures, how homeopathy cures is the usual question which we are always asked. So nothing more about to explain than just to understand the natural phenomena. And if we are able to understand such kind of natural phenomena, what is the difficulty in understanding the modus operandi of cure in homeopathy? So we go further with the discussion of aphorism number 47, that Dr. Hahnemann's observation with simillimum. These examples teach physician what kind of artificial morbific agent, that is medicine, is required to cure. So how does this selection of the artificial morbific agent takes place? We have already know that the effects of these medicines are noted on the provers and the symptoms are recorded in homeopathic materia medica. So when he sees the natural cures, he is able to give us the clear-cut guidance that the homeopathic cures just like the natural cures. So it is the simillimum which cures, and it is in so much in relation with the natural cures. So phenomena of homeopathic cures with simillimum is just similar to the natural phenomena. So we are able to understand the natural energy, that is gravitational energy, magnetic energy, electrical energy, and thus we can easily understand what we call it as vital energy. So in nature we can understand while correlation that our life energy, our dynamic power on which the concept of homeopathy is based. So we can easily accept and understand its presence. Thus, the phenomena of vital energy is the phenomena in the nature. Similarly, homeopathic cures is a phenomena. It is just similar to the phenomena in nature. So this is all the conceptual understanding, the logical correlation, that's all. And Dr. Hahnemann tells us to focus our attention that this is a natural phenomena, that smallpox is removing ophthalmia. So we can understand easily the phenomena which takes place by the application of simillimum. So simillimum produces artificial stronger disease which will remove the natural weaker disease. And how it takes place further, he is giving us the explanation in the subsequent aphorisms. So in aphorism number 46, he is giving us the observation with simillimum. So he is focusing the attention that these are all natural phenomena, and Dr. Hahnemann raises homeopathy to the natural science. It's a natural science and based on the simple principle of law of similia, no assumptions, no speculations, no imagination. It's a straightway science based on the law of similars. That's it. So we are able to understand now homeopathy till this aphorism, that the most important concept up till now we have understood is of vital energy, that is vital force, the dynamic influence. And the second part we have understood is the examples of natural cures, and then we are able to correlate the action of homeopathic remedies, and they are able to effect a cure. So homeopathy is a natural science. Now you are in final year, so you will ask that explain homeopathy is a natural science. How do you explain? Because Dr. Hahnemann has given in such aphorisms 36, 38 and 40, and then in 43 his observations. The observations, what happens when two dissimilar diseases meet, and second observation, what happens when two similar diseases meet in nature. So these are the clear-cut phenomena, clear-cut observations of pure experience, no imaginations. We don't have to imagine what is going on. Dr. Hahnemann is giving us clear evidence of this natural phenomena. So homeopathy is a natural science. And the action of similimum. What is the action of similimum? It produces artificial, stronger similar disease in the patient, and now it will remove the weaker natural disease, and thus homeopathic cure takes place. So homeopathy is a natural science. Okay, am I very clear? The up till now our conceptual understanding. I would like to appreciate all of you have been studying what is mission, what is cure, what are knowledges, but now you should develop this vision that homeopathy is a natural science, and it is having the concept based on vital energy, and the next important aspect, it is based on the principle of similia. So it is a science, pure science, acting on the principles and laws. All of you also know the cardinal principles of homeopathy. You are studying since first year. So we proceed further now. That is aphorism number 48. Now Dr. Hahnemann tries to tell us the cure by similimum. So with his observations, what happens when two dissimilar diseases meet, given in 36, 38 and 40th aphorism, he says that dissimilar disease never cures. Dissimilar morbific agent never cures even when strong, whereas similar medicinal agent to the symptoms of disease and stronger in nature always cures. So here he is clearly giving us the highlighting that only similimum cures, and the dissimilar morbific agent, as it is seen in nature also, it never cures. Similarly, use of dissimilar, that is the antipathic mode of treatment, never cures. He is giving us the examples on antipathy in quite detail in the subsequent aphorism. So in this aphorism, the most important focus is cure is possible only by similimum, because the similar medicinal agent produces stronger similar disease, stronger similar symptoms in the patient, and thus cure takes place. Okay, so shall we go to the next? That is aphorism number 49. See, very small important aspects are discussed, and I am going to highlight only those aspects. So aphorism 49 in continuation with 48. Cure possible only by similimum. More examples of natural cures might have been observed, but nature is deficient of diseases to bring such cures. Exactly. The most important disadvantage of natural cures. What is the disadvantages? We have already discussed this. That the natural stronger disease can be more fatal, and when it removes the weaker natural disease, who will remove the stronger disease which remains? So is it that to remove this stronger natural disease like smallpox, if at all it cured ophthalmia, that the patient will have to wait to so that he suffers from still more stronger disease than smallpox, which will remove now smallpox. But again, this similar stronger disease remains. Okay, so this vicious cycle will go on and go on. So nature, and the most important fact is that nature doesn't have always the exact natural disease similar in nature which will remove the weaker disease. So nature is deficient of diseases to bring such cures. So two examples we always discuss. What are those examples? Ophthalmia being removed by smallpox and orchitis being removed by mumps. So if we are having list of natural diseases, but we are not having sufficient stock of stronger similar natural disease. The point we already discussed, it is not in our hands to suffer from stronger similar disease. Stronger similar disease can be fatal, and again patient will have to wait for another stronger similar disease he should suffer to remove the previous disease. So this is absolutely vicious phenomena which will take place, and we don't want the patient to succumb in such type of cures. So the cure is possible only by similimum, that is which is going to produce the similar artificial disease. Why the name artificial? Because it's not natural and it is just produced by medicines. Hence the name artificial. Artificial is exactly opposite of natural. So cure is possible only by similimum. We already saw the dose is in our hands to regulate the similimum. So the artificial, stronger, similar disease which the medicines will produce will soon disappear now, and leaving the patient free of natural disease. So cure is possible only by similimum. So we move further with the aphorism number 15. Cure is possible in nature by similar disease only. So again, Dr. Hahnemann is hammering upon us in all these aphorisms. Cure is possible in nature by similar disease. But these are hazardous cures. Again, we saw this point that if ophthalmia is removed by smallpox, who will remove the smallpox? Is it that patient should suffer from another stronger similar disease to remove smallpox? So Hahnemann calls it as they are hazardous cures. They are incomplete cures because this will be a vicious cycle. Ophthalmia removed by smallpox. Suppose smallpox is removed by another stronger disease, say cowpox, say for example. And now who will remove cowpox? So this is incomplete cure. And we don't want the patient to go into this vicious cycle where there is no cure. Okay, the more stronger disease which remove the weaker disease remains in patient. How new stronger similar disease will be removed? Is it by another still stronger disease? How one can wait for the new still stronger and similar disease to remove the present disease? And worst part is that it's not in our hands to suffer from any disease because it requires the underlying susceptibility and immunity. It is not the wish and will of the person that he should suffer from disease. It's the underlying immunity, underlying susceptibility because of which the patient falls ill. So, cure is possible in nature by similar disease, but we don't want this option for cure. They are hazardous cures, they are incomplete cures, and the more stronger disease which remove the weaker disease remains. And how new stronger similar disease will be removed? Is it by another still stronger? And how one can wait for the new still stronger and similar disease to remove the present disease? So again and again Dr. Hahnemann is stressing the same points. Okay, so he is comparing with previous aphorism, that is the cure possible by similimab, and here the cure again he goes back with the discussion of natural cures. So now in comparing the natural cures and cure by similimab, what is the advantage of cure by similimab? It is the advantage is that the stronger artificial disease produced by similimab is of short duration. The dose is in our hands. So it will soon disappear, leaving the patient free of sufferings. Okay. So shall we move to the next aphorism? That is 51, the most famous. Happy-go-lucky operations. So Dr. Hahnemann has given this name to what? Happy-go-lucky operation is the name for what? It's a Viva question. All of you pay attention. So 51 aphorism is of on happy-go-lucky operations. Now Dr. Hahnemann has labeled this happy-go-lucky operation to the natural cures. To the natural cures. So far we are discussing these natural cures. And Hahnemann gives this name as happy-go-lucky operations, or it is also called as accidental cures. So nature cures purely accidentally, not intentionally. It is not in our hands to suffer from any disease. It means it is not will and wish of the person to suffer from any disease. So 51st aphorism describes happy-go-lucky operations. And what are happy-go-lucky operations? They are nothing but accidental cures in nature. So far we discussed our famous example, very common we are discussing, that is about ophthalmia and smallpox. And another example is of orchitis and mumps. So if smallpox removes ophthalmia, it is accidental cure. If mumps removes orchitis, it is accidental cure or happy-go-lucky operations. So what are natural cures? They are not sure. They are accidental and not in all cases. We don't have always the stronger similar disease for every case. We don't have always stronger similar disease for every case. Whereas we have at our disposal so many homeopathic medicines which are known to produce similar morbific affections. So comparison. First two points are with reference to natural cures. So comparison. Third point is by cure by homeopathic medicines. So the important point is that always homeopathic cures are better option than the natural cures. I repeat, cure by homeopathy will always be a better option. It will be a always better option for the natural cures. So what is the option for natural cures? Is the homeopathic medicines. We already discussed the disadvantages of natural cures. The disadvantages are already discussed previously. So disadvantages are nothing but that there is not always possible that stronger similar disease will be there in nature. Second disadvantage is that the stronger similar disease remains in the patient and it can be fatal. Okay, so these are the disadvantages. And what is the advantage of homeopathic medicines? That we have all the homeopathic materia medica fully equipped. These are our instruments to effect the cure. So we are having fully equipped homeopathic materia medica which will be giving us all the similar diseases which we can match with the natural diseases. Okay, so we are fully equipped with our homeopathic materia medica. We can easily employ homeopathic medicines by doing the matching of natural disease and matching of the materia medica, that is the remedy which will be given to cure, and its symptoms we are noted in homeopathic materia medica. And the most important advantage of homeopathic cures is the dose is in our hands, so that the artificial disease produced by homeopathic medicines is slightly higher. So it is little bit stronger than the natural disease and it disappears after its action is over. And this artificial disease disappears after its action is over. So it is we as homeopath who will control the action of this similimum to produce artificial disease in the patient. So the dose is in our hands, so that the artificial disease soon disappears, leaving the patient free of symptoms. And that's gentle cure, no violent attack on the organism. So aphorism number 51 is doing the comparison of the cure by nature and cure by homeopathic remedies. So it's always better that to use homeopathic remedies to effect cure than the natural diseases. So we move further, that is 52. There he describes two methods of treatment, homeopathy and allopathy. And the most important aspect, the criminal treason against divine homeopathy. The criminal treason against divine homeopathy. So let's understand what is the meaning of this criminal treason against divine homeopathy. So now Dr. Henneman up till now told us the comparison. What is effective? Is it the natural disease is effective or the homeopathic remedies they are effecting a cure? So obviously with his experiences and with his observation he has clearly told that always homeopathic remedy will be a best choice to cure the natural disease. Okay, the most important aspect, the dose is in our hands. We can regulate the dose of the homeopathic remedy. Okay, now the two very common methods of treatment are allopathy and homeopathy. Now what is the basic difference? Homeopathy is based on observation of nature. So it's purely a science of experience and experiments. So homeopathy is based on observation of nature and careful experimentation. That is, the drug proving is an example of careful experimentation where the effects of the medicines are noted on the provers, okay, which forms our strong materia medica. And from reference with the materia medica, we can select the simillimum and administer to the patient. So next is option is allopathy. Allopathy means heteropathy. So they sometimes practice homeopathy and sometimes practice allopathy according to the pleasure of patient. Means patient will tell, now you give me homeopathy and now you give me allopathy. And physician also doing the same thing to according to the wish of patient. This is called as criminal treason against divine homeopathy. That is, physician is making crime. Why is giving allopathy when we can have good cures with homeopathy in case of chronic diseases? So this is called as criminal treason against divine homeopathy. So it's a criminal method that sometimes you practice homeopathy and sometimes you practice allopathy. It's not a good thing. So this is described in aphorism number 52. You will be always asked what is criminal treason against divine homeopathy. So what is that? The physician who practices sometimes homeopathy, sometimes allopathy according to the pleasure of patient. Okay. And that's the last aphorism of today's presentation. Dr. Henneman clearly by his observations and his pure experience and experiments, he declares that true cure is only in homeopathy, not in antipathy, isopathy and allopathy. So true mild permanent cure is in homeopathy. And what is the beauty of this? It is based on eternal laws of nature. True homeopathy is the healing art. It is based on eternal laws of nature. And see this point, straight line between two given points. It's a favorite, of the examiners to ask this question. In which aphorism it is mentioned, straight line between two given points. So homeopathy is such a science, very clear cut, that between the two given points only a straight line can be drawn. So the only option of cure is homeopathy and nothing else. Only option to cure is homeopathy. It's not in antipathy, it's not in isopathy, and also not a choice of natural cures. So natural cures, that is by the weaker disease removed by stronger disease, that is also never an option. So Dr. Hahnemann says it is impossible to draw more than two lines between the two given points. So it is as impossible to draw more than two lines between two given points. It is impossible that other than homeopathy, the any other system, that is say antipathy or isopathy, will effect a true cure. Okay, so aphorism number 53 had described the point of the line between the two given points. So that was all for today's presentation of aphorism number 47 to aphorism number 53. So only 2 points explained, dear students, to take note of it is that if you compare the option of cure between homeopathy and natural disease, it will be always homeopathy. If you compare the option of curing between homeopathy and antipathy, it will again be homeopathy. So this was a presentation of aphorism number 47 to 53. I hope you have understood. I have tried my level best to explain it, and the presentation also I have tried to give you the highlight. I have highlighted the points in blue and in red in bold so that you can understand the concept which is explained about homeopathy. Okay, thank you.